Coach Mroz, thank you so much for your time. Really looking forward to this. For the listeners at home, will you tell us a little bit about your background, your motivation, and kind of where you are currently?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited. I appreciate it. I've been following you a little bit, so I'm excited to finally be a part of it. So a little bit about my background, where I'm at currently. I don't know how far you want me to go back, but, it started, really my path in performance started when I was in high school. I loved football. I loved playing football, and I wanted to get better. I really wanted to improve, and I knew watching, college players on TV, watching the NFL, I knew I had to get bigger. I knew I had to grow. So I really started to work out. That's when I kind of fell in love with the weight room. And at the time, I didn't have the resources, people have today with the internet and everything. So I was just at the gym, just learning from the older guys at the gym, just passing down wisdom from, doing supersets of, chest and this and that. So that was kind of where it all started. And I just really wanted to, it almost was like selfish. Like I wanted to get better, so I wanted to learn as much as I could about strength and conditioning so I could improve and I could have a better chance of playing better and performing and being, one of the best where I was in my league. And from there, I went to Merrimack College. I played football at Merrimack. And during my second year, we got a new strength coach. Actually, you had him on here, Coach Kamal.
Okay.
And just seeing how he came in and how organized he was and how he taught us, how he coached us, everything he did as a coach, I was like, wow, he's really does a good job. He's organized. He's smart. He knows what he's talking about. He gets results. And he went to Springfield College. So I was actually watching it was this weekend back at, I don't even know, maybe 2006 or 2007. And out of the 4 teams in the playoffs, 3 of the teams had 4 teams in the NFL playoffs. 3 of the teams actually had coaches from Springfield College.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I saw that, and I was like, wow. Now, Springfield, Merrimack is right north of Boston. Springfield's like an hour and a half, 2 hours west. And I'm like, oh, that's right here. It's not like it's USC. It's not something out in California or Washington. It's right down the street. And I decided to look into transferring. And, a good friend of mine, Shane O'Connor, who's still in the strength field, we transferred over to Springfield together. And from then on, we were in a race to the NFL. We were in a race to, just be the best at everything we were doing, whether it was class, whether it was internships, whether it was, whatever it was we were doing, whether we were cooking, we lived together, we'd cook, and literally we'd compete who could make the best chicken. Because when you're eating rice and chicken every day, who can make it taste better?
Exactly.
Yeah, so, you have to get creative as a strength coach and stuff, and you're eating the same stuff every day, and you got Tupperware containers, who can make this taste better? So, we were competing in everything we did. Okay. And Shane was someone, that really, he helped me improve, and we really leaned on each other and pushed each other to our max. And, that eventually led me through the Springfield network. It led me to internships, and then I eventually got a position down in Louisiana and moved down there. And he actually moved to Tampa. He actually had a position with the Bucks, so he beat me to the NFL. He won. But it was good. We really pushed each other a lot. And eventually, that same passion to improve and grow led me into sports psychology, and it's just been a passion of mine. Just the mind, the power of the mind, how it works, and something that really I'm passionate about and I just loved. What got me into it was just the performance aspect. How can I improve? How can I control my mind? And then if you look at family dynamics, how do 2 people grow up in the same family, and then one person just takes a completely different route, or just a different, when you talk about addiction and things like that, and it just was so amazing to me, and I'm like, the mind is so powerful. How can I learn more about it, and how can I capture it? How can I utilize it? And that's where I'm at today, and that's where my passion came from. Is just self-improvement. Again, selfishly, I wanted to get better, and then how can I use these tools we have, all the knowledge with sports performance, strength conditioning, and mental performance, mental conditioning. How can I use that to my advantage? How can I leverage that to give me an opportunity to work at the highest level and be the best and help the people around me? How can I use those tools now to teach and help people around me? And that's where I'm at today. I'm out of coaching now.
Okay.
And from the point of I'm not in the weight room all day every day. I still coach people all the time. I'm just not in the NFL. I'm not in college. I'm not, full time for a staff.
Yeah.
And that was something, since like 2013, it was a little side thing I had going was, the performance coaching, mental performance coaching. It was something I had on the side.
Okay.
And, eventually, as you know, we were just talking about, scheduling, how difficult it is to schedule. Eventually I was like, you know what, I think it's time to take the leap and do this full time versus trying to do it on the side.
Yeah.
I would just, an example, it might be July.
Mm-hmm.
It's where, it's our off time. We haven't reported back for camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be talking to a business and they're like, all right, we want to plan something for January.
Yeah.
I'm like, might be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know where I'll be in January. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then even February, I don't know. We got the combine. There's the Senior Bowl. There's all these bowl games. I don't know where I'll be or what I'll be doing. So it became very difficult to schedule and kind of structure my day and grow my business. And I just decided at the end of the season last year, it was time to take the leap and really kind of go all in. And so that's where I'm at right now. That's how I got here.
That's awesome. And I think that's a really interesting point, right? We were just talking before this of the scheduling as well, like you mentioned, but I can, as a strength coach, I can barely tell someone what I'm going to do like a week from now. So I can only imagine months ahead. You know what I mean? Like,
it was hard. In business, everything is like they have it all.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses will have that stuff scheduled out, months and months ahead, and I'm like, I don't even know what we might have Monday. I might not have practice next Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, and it was always a challenge too. I mean, with people getting married or bachelor parties or this and that, and it's like,
agreed.
They'll be like, hey, 6 months out, hey, we're planning this. Are you free this weekend?
Yeah.
No.
I can tell you.
We might have rookie mini camp that weekend.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's one weekend in May. I know I have rookie mini camp.
Yeah.
I don't know. And in college, recruiting. Hey, I don't know. I know every Saturday morning we're going to have a bunch of kids in here doing height, weight, combine stuff. And, we're trying to develop our program. So it was a challenge. That was a big challenge, was to schedule.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And so kind of you touched on the business a little bit. Will you elaborate on your current business model and kind of some of the services you provide?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do is I apply the NFL mindset to teams and individuals.
Okay.
And what I do is I help people perform at their highest level. I can't teach, so just I'll speak in business terms right now. I can't teach everyone. If I work with a realtor, I can't teach you how to become a better realtor per se, like specific to that. I can't teach you about taxes. I can't teach you about all those other things. But what I can do is we can help create tools and habits that will allow you to do your job better. And that's what I focus on is the performance aspect. You always hear people, especially in coaching, you always hear people giving great advice like, hey, be confident, relax, don't be so hard on yourself, right? Like you always hear that stuff. Hey, you need to focus right now. Okay, so what I do is I teach you how to be confident, how to relax, how to not beat up on yourself, how to focus, how to increase motivation. Those are the things that I work on from a coaching standpoint now, to help individuals, teams, everybody, business and athletes, develop and grow, because it really translates to all fields. I mean, these mental skills and mental tools are really things that apply across all aspects of life.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, so what kind of do your workshops and retreats and leadership consulting look like?
It's different for everybody I work with. So just, there's no one size fit all. So just as an example, what I do is I'll come in and learn, what are your opportunities? Where are your opportunities? What is a challenge? Where are you guys struggling? What can we maximize? And then we find the best way to fit it in. Just as an example, it might be talking to one group, it might be more about sales, education, motivation, things like that. And then another group, it might be stress management. It might be building confidence. It might be things like that. So it's really not a one size fits all, but it's really individualized for the organization or the team that I'm working with. Different teams have different focuses, different teams. Every team probably has a mantra or whatever, and it's really specific to them. So that's where the kind of the art comes along.
Okay.
Because it's like there is no template.
Yeah.
It's like a strength program. I mean, there's no, and some people do use templates, but it's like you have to adjust for each sport. You have to adjust for injuries. You have to adjust, and that's the same thing. You might have somebody who's extremely motivated but lacks confidence. All right, that's the thing. You might have a team that is extremely confident but doesn't take action, lacks motivation, lacks focus. But they're very confident. Confident isn't their issue; it's something else. So. And that's both business and sports. It's the same thing. Everyone's different. Everyone has different opportunities or struggles, and that's how my approach. It's really I learn first, see where we can optimize, see where we can improve, and then go from there.
I love it. Okay, and I've seen this hashtag Mroz mission, right? So will you just touch on a little bit what that means and what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Mroz mission, it's a funny thing, the Mroz mission is to increase confidence and positive self-image, through educating individuals on how to create, a better mental environment on which the foundation of success is. So where does that come from? For me, it's very personal. So I know one of the questions we were talking about is, what is something that, pushes you or drives you or motivates you? And for me, it was really a lack of confidence. So when I was younger, when I was in high school, I mean, I had this chip on my shoulder. I was so insecure, so unconfident. And what really helped transform me was exercise, working out, strength and conditioning, learning about the body, and educating myself and empowering myself, and it helped me feel more confident. And I was like, my ability to exercise, lift weights, coach people, help other people, now makes me feel better. It made me feel a lot more confident. So when I first started, back in 2013, we started putting together camps and clinics and all these things. And my high school I actually went to, Greg Lingley was the assistant athletic director there, and he asked me if I wanted to do something with the high school. And so there was a bunch of coaches helping me. All these coaches came from all over to help, and I'm like, all right, so I need to create a vision and a mission. What is this camp? Hey, I'm running this camp. What is it? What's the mission? And I was like, my mission is to empower these kids, these high school kids, and middle school kids. I want them to be more positive. I want them to have more self-confidence. I want them to have a positive self-image, and we're going to do it through educating them on how to exercise, how to create a better mental environment, how to eat properly before and after a game, how to stretch. This is the way. This is how the pros stretch. Now, guess what? That 14-year-old kid, now knowing that he stretches the same way AJ Green stretches, he's going to feel really good about himself. So that was my mission, was really to just empower people. Just empower people, have more positive self-image, have more self-confidence. That's the Mroz mission, kind of drawn out and lengthy. That's my focus. That's my mission. No,
I love it. Okay, and then kind of transitioning forward a little bit, right, into some mental skill stuff. So what you just touched on, right? So how can we start to better serve populations within our sphere of influence, right, to empower people and do that kind of thing?
So for me, I believe that the biggest room for improvement is just focus. What are we focused on? What are the thoughts that go through your head? That to me, that's the biggest bang for your buck. That's the low-lying fruit. What's the easiest thing to do? Well, we need to look at and examine what we're focused on and what we're thinking about. If we can improve that, you're going to improve. That saying, you create what you think about, comes to fruition. It's literally, what are you thinking about? What are the words what are the voices in your head saying? If we can create awareness to that, just think about what you're thinking about. That's the lowest lying fruit. Where's your focus? When adversity strikes, what do you think about? Where does your focus go? Are you focused on solutions, or are you focused on how hard it is? Are you focused on, so that to me is probably the quickest, easiest, just bring self-awareness. And it starts with you. You have to be self-aware first before you can tell someone else how to be self-aware.
Definitely,
you have to, and it's a constant challenge. I'll be the first to say it. Constant challenge for me. Always to be all right, what's going on in my head right now? Because there's I'll have people ask at the end of a seminar, we'll talk about the power of positivity, or all these different things, the confidence elevator, how to increase confidence, and they'll be like, do you ever have a bad day? That's the question. And I'm like, yeah, I have bad days.
Yeah.
You know? Today, I had a phenomenal day today. I woke up this morning, felt great, ready to exercise. You know, I felt good. Yeah. I go to the gym every morning. And, but you know what? On, what day was it? Maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, I was like, not having it.
Yeah.
I woke up. Izzy's laying next to me, our boxer, Paige is laying there, and I'm just like, wow, I do not want to get out of bed right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like,
one of those days.
There's no amount of weights that I want to lift right now. Like, there's like nothing I want to do right now physically. Like, so that was, like, yeah, I have bad days. And then I have to, think about what I'm thinking about. What's going on through your head right now? Where's your focus? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it?
Yeah.
So that, to me, I think is like the easiest thing is just think about what you're thinking about.
I like
that's
that.
Like low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of people don't even consider that, so I think it's really important to touch on, and especially in this kind of younger population, right? So how can we kind of set up kids to be better in sports and life and to be more successful?
That's a great question. So I'll talk about, we just talked about the Mroz mission a little bit, and when you say kids, I'm thinking like, how young are we talking? And then I talk about, like the pillars of fitness.
Yeah. So you touched on middle school a little bit, right? So let's just think of that population.
Yeah. So to me, it's all about education and empowering. So what a lot of times I see or things that I've seen happen is, kids will have either strength coaches or personal trainers, or again, like me, I just had old guys at the gym. These dudes that I thought were like muscle men that were probably like, right now I'm looking back, they were probably like mid-30s, like, overweight, but to me, I'm like, these dudes know what they're talking about. Look at his arms are big, and I'm like,
exactly.
They really don't know anything. They would tell me what to do, but they wouldn't teach me why. They would be like, they wouldn't educate me on the reasons, or, this is, when you do this is what, you need to go heavy one day, light another day. Why? They don't tell me why, just do it. You'll get results. So to me, it's all about education in all those, all the aspects. And I say like the pillars of fitness. So the camps we do the pillars of fitness. We touch on strength, mobility, agility, conditioning, mental fitness, mental conditioning, nutrition, warm up, cool down. We try and hit on everything, and give them some piece of education, core. We just try to give them a little tidbit that they can hang their hat on and be like, this is for sure, this is why, and this is good. And that's, to me, that's how we can start setting up younger kids for more success is educating them, because a lot of times, not everyone has a strength coach. Not everyone has a personal trainer. Not everybody has somebody that can tell them what to do. So if we can educate them, they can do it on their own. Now we're empowering young individuals to be successful in the future. Which, this age right now, between Twitter, Instagram, Google, you can learn anything you want to learn.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can't imagine if we had this, this many resources.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. You can learn anything you want. So I think that's really where it all begins, is just education.
I like that. Okay. And then will you talk a little bit on what mental toughness actually means and how we can kind of help athletes and students adapt to be quote unquote mentally tougher?
So it's funny. Mental toughness, it's always like thrown around, and you see mental toughness training. People doing all these crazy things and flipping tires and running with weight vests and mentally tough. And I'm like, so there's two things. I don't know what it is. Like, what is mental toughness? I can't give you a definition for that. It's like there's physical toughness and there's mental toughness. And to me, what mental toughness is your ability to focus through adversity. Now, adversity can be anything. Adversity could be flipping a tire across 10 football fields. I don't know. Adversity could be running some stadiums. But what adversity could also be is sticking with the process. A lot of times I'll see a lot of programs, like strength conditioning programs, and it will look like, are we here to get better, or are we here to entertain the athletes? Like all this stuff, all these things we're throwing in, all these crazy, and it's like, is that helping us get better, or is that just making the athlete, is it changing their focus and kind of distracting them and being like, look, we're doing a new thing, so this is going to keep you entertained and involved. Like, this is really good, So, because look, the back squat hasn't changed for, I don't know, when did people start back squatting?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like that's going to develop your glutes, your quads, it's going to develop your posterior chair. Like, that hasn't changed. So, are we doing all these other crazy things to address like boredom in the weight room, or so to me, mental toughness. An example would be sticking with the process. Like, look, it might be boring. It is repetitive. It is the same thing. But you know what? If you can focus right now and focus on getting 1% better right here, right now, it's going to get you closer to your goal. That to me is mental toughness.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree.
And being able to focus through, and again, that adversity can be boredom.
Yeah.
That it doesn't have to be some strenuous, ridiculous 12-mile run with a backpack. It could just be, hey, look, I just did this same workout for the past 3 weeks. Yeah. And now I have to focus and get better right now. That's mental toughness to me.
Do you think we can kind of track that in any way?
That is also that would be something great to track.
Yeah, $1 million question.
Yeah, no, I don't know how to track it. I don't have an answer for that because again, I feel like it would look different for every program. But it could be something that is self-evaluated. Like, hey, I'll just use football as an example, or golf. Ready? Hey, I missed this putt. How did I feel the second I missed the putt? Yeah. What was my focus on? Was my focus on the line and like how to hit it next, or was my focus on, oh gosh, I missed the putt, I'm terrible, I'm falling back in points? Like, it would almost have to be like a self-evaluation because only you know where your focus is and what you're thinking about.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, if someone misses a putt, does that mean they're not mentally tough? I don't know. I mean, there's so many factors into it.
Yeah, it's hard to
say.
Like,
if you win or lose a football game, are you mentally tough? I mean, there's so many factors that factor into it.
Yeah.
So I can't specifically say I have a way to track it, but I feel like if it were to be tracked, it would have to be some type of self-evaluation.
Yeah.
Some type of self-recorded. I feel like that would be the only way to truly measure it.
That's true. It's hard to let other people know what's going on in your own head, so...
Exactly.
Yeah, the most qualified would be that person. Awesome, yeah. And then with that, right, kind of how can we cultivate an intrinsic growth mindset?
That's a great question. And, obviously with all the research coming out of, Stanford and all those, across the way, like how can we do that? How can we increase that growth mindset? And I think the first part, we talk about education again, like bringing light to it and educating people on what is a growth mindset. What does it even mean to have a growth mindset? Identify opportunities in your life where you don't have a growth mindset. When you see the success of others, are you jealous or do you try to learn from them?
Yeah.
When someone asks you, when there's an obstacle in front of you or a challenge, do you think it's insurmountable, or are you like, all right, I can learn, I can definitely grow and adapt, and I can learn to figure this out.
Yeah.
I've never, I'm at home, the door broke, I've never fixed a door handle before, but I know that I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I can learn how to do this. Where's your mindset?
Yeah.
And so it would really be educating on it.
Okay.
Educate everyone. Hey, these are the parts of, this is what a growth mindset looks like. This is what a fixed mindset looks like. Where are you? Okay. Identify yourself. And then it circles back to self-awareness. Yeah. What are you thinking about? What do you say in your head? Because again, like that conversation you have with yourself, you talk to you more than anybody.
Yeah.
Who's your closest friend? Me.
Yeah.
Who do you get the most advice from? Me.
Yeah.
Who do it's you. You talk to yourself all the time. So what are you talking about? What are you thinking about? Where, and that's where I think cultivating that growth mindset comes from is self-awareness and identifying where there's opportunities within your own self, and it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be times where, or you might be growth in, a couple categories and fixing a couple,
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect.
That's true.
But it starts with just education and awareness, I think.
Okay.
Especially with athletes.
And so on the kind of a flip side, right? So do you teach anything with like a mindset reset? So like after failure, like a routine or something like that to reset the mind, or what's your take on that?
Absolutely. So, a good solid mental reset starts with awareness.
Yeah.
Am I off right now? Like, and it's funny now. Like, if say I go play basketball, or say I go do something, it's just funny to experiment. So I play like in a softball league, and it's a slow pitch old man softball league. But I'll tell you what, the focus and the pressure and all these things, like it's there, so you can really test and experiment.
Yeah.
So ready? Hey, you drop a fly ball or something, like. Where's your focus right now? What are you thinking about? How do you reset? And then it's just funny. So we were in the championship. We went undefeated the whole season. We're in the championship game. The last inning, we have the lead, and there's probably like 12 errors in the field. We end up losing by 1 run. And it's just total debacle.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, we could really probably use some mental training on this team, you know. And like we're all, you know, we're all washed up athletes, but it's like we could probably improve on this because all of a sudden one error happens and all of a sudden it's like, where's your mindset go?
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I don't want to mess up. Like, what are you focusing on? I hope it doesn't come to me. Or you focused on like, hey, missed that one routine grounder. It's okay. I'm gonna get this next one. I've taken these 1,000 times. Well, all season. I've taken grounders all season. I'm gonna be fine. You know. So to me, that mental reset comes with awareness. Where are you focused? What are you thinking about? How do you speak to yourself? And then when adversity strikes, are you thinking about a resolution or are you thinking about how bad it is? Because it's like there's no time to feel bad. There's no time to feel bad for yourself. You better get ready for the next play. So that's what, if you can bring awareness to it, and then everyone can have their own kind of key. Everyone can have their own trigger. Like, all right, hey, stop, reset. You know, and in football, sometimes some guys would look at the field goal post. Some guys would look up at, you know, like the press box. Some guys would look down at their feet. You know, because it's like, what's something that you know is always going to be there that you can reset? And in some sports, some teams use at home. This is why home field edge probably such an advantage. There's certain triggers. Like I know Pittsburgh. Whenever you play in Pittsburgh's against the Steelers in Heinz Field, they always play. There's one song in the third quarter or fourth quarter when they have the lead. They play it, and it just gets everyone wild up, and that to them is a trigger. They're like, it's a reset. All right, hey, we got to close out this game. Hey, we got to win. Hey, we have to do this. Hey, we have to make a play right now. So, you know, that can be a trigger too. So I absolutely love the reset, and it all comes back to awareness. Where are you at? Take a little evaluation, see where you're at and how you can get better. And I think you touched on a really important point as well of performing not to fail versus performing to succeed, you know? So I think that's really interesting because, again, like you said, the awareness. Is the awareness more on the failure or more on the success? Because like riding a bike, right, we'll go more to where we focus. So I think that's super important. And then moving forward a little bit, so is there any way that we can kind of truly change self-talk versus just going through the motions for the time being? So I love to go to the movie theaters. I love going to the movies. I don't go much, but I really enjoy going to movies. And AMC is a big movie chain. They own a bunch of theaters. And so I like to think of AMC, I don't know, it just sticks with me. AMC for changing self-talk. So the first step is awareness. Being aware of what you are saying to yourself. That is the very first thing, because you can't change it unless you know what's going on. And then the M to me is meditation. So we always hear people talking about mindfulness, meditation, all these different, it's like a buzzword right now. And there's all sorts of apps, there's everything geared towards meditation. The way I use meditation and the way I have kind of found success for me, and again, this could be different for everybody, it's not one size fits all. What I do every day, I do this every single day. I'll set my phone on Do Not Disturb. I set my timer for 3 minutes, and I'll hit start, and I'll just close my eyes, and all I do is I think about my breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, I said 3 minutes, right? Most people, when they're like, oh, I meditate for 25 minutes every day, and I'm like, look, I'm trying to get to 3 minutes. I'm trying to get to 3 minutes.
Exactly.
You know? And so for me, it's different for everybody, but I know if I set a timer for 20 minutes, I'd be setting myself up for failure. So I start small with meditation. You know, I used to do it for 1 minute. Last year, Paige and I, when I was in Cleveland, Paige and I, every day at lunch, we'd call each other and we'd meditate for 2 minutes. So it's like, it's different for everybody, you know, there's no set time, but what I do is I focus on my breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Oh, I have this podcast thing I'm doing tomorrow. All right, shut up, Jamey. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, like that's what's going through my head. Oh, I have an email. All right, hey, take care of it after. Breathe in, out. And every time my thought goes somewhere else and then I pull it back into my breath, like that's a rep. Like, hey, I just got mentally stronger. You know, I just was able to improve my focus. And, you know, I can't find research that says meditating for 3 minutes a day increases the gray matter in your brain. But you know what? Hey, it's helping me. I feel a change. And it helps me. It just helps me control my thoughts. So then once I meditate and I learn how to control my thoughts and I learn how to direct my focus, now I can change it. AMC, awareness, meditation, change. And And the most popular question is, okay, when do I meditate?
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you need to. Like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
So for me, if I get like a call, something bad happened, I'm anxious about something. If I'm feeling nervous, like when I get those butterflies and I'm like feeling anxious, like that's when I need to meditate.
Yeah.
If I'm pissed off, if something gets me upset, like I need to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm, whenever I start to lose control of my thoughts or lose, direction, lose focus, I need to meditate.
Yeah.
So to me, like that's when. Now, I used to do it every day at lunch because it was like that was a routine. It helped me get started. And now I'm at the point where if I'm about to go into a big meeting or a presentation, I might be feeling a little anxious about it. I might be a little nervous because I want to do well.
Yeah.
I really I want to deliver so much. I just want to deliver so much. I want to give so much. I want people to take value from what I talk about. I get nervous because I'm like, I hope this is good.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, I might need to meditate. I'll pull up before I go in. I meditate for a couple minutes in the car. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
So to me, that's when you meditate.
Okay.
And this is controversial too. People are like, I meditate before bed. And I'm like, yeah, I do that too. It's called falling asleep. Like,
Yeah.
Meditation to me is an active exercise. It's focusing. And if you fall asleep while you're meditating, I mean, that is a part. I'm not going to say what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah.
For me, it's active, I'm thinking, I'm engaged, and I'm really focused on my thoughts.
Mm.
And if I fall asleep in it, then I wasn't doing it right. To me, that's the way I do it.
No, I like that. Okay.
So, yeah, that's how I change self-talk. And it's a process, but if you can get people aware, get them meditating, and then their ability to change will be a lot easier.
I like that. And then you touched on kind of bringing your thoughts back to your breath, right, to improve your concentration. Are there any other thoughts that you have on how we can improve concentration and focus?
I really think that's like the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, like I put something up today. Focus isn't, and I think Justin Sua might have sent it. I think I got it from Justin, one of his podcast episodes, and it was like, hey, focus isn't something you have.
Yeah.
Like people always say, oh, I have really bad focus, or it's like you can't go buy focus. You can't go pick up focus. Focus is something you do.
Yeah. You
can improve focus. You can change your focus. You can, focus is something you have, and it's something you do. I think that in order to improve and change that, it's through meditation. That's the way that, and it could be, again, I've seen some studies that say, playing video games is a type of meditation because you're so focused on that one thing and there's no distractions. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But again, while you're doing that, there's outside influences. So I think that meditation, and again, it's 2 minutes, 1 minute. Everyone has 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll pull up to a building and I'll be in my car meditating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hope no one walks by right now. I hope no one takes a picture of me.
Yeah.
So, I think meditation is the absolute best way to change self-talk and change just awareness and your ability to focus.
Yeah.
It's backed by research. I mean, you don't need 25 minutes. People are like, oh, I don't have time to meditate. Dude, you don't have to meditate for a 30-minute, half hour every day.
Yeah.
Meditate for 2 minutes.
Exactly.
Try and do that, ready? If you can focus on your breath for 2 minutes, then do 3. If you can't, then do 1.
Yeah.
1 minute. Just think about your thoughts. If you can't do that, then you need to keep doing that.
Exactly.
It's just like working out, squatting. Hey, I can't squat 135. Well, damn it, you know what? We're gonna do 95 until you can get to 115, and then we're gonna get 125, and then before you know it, you can squat 135. It's the same thing. It's the same process.
It's funny when you just put it in concrete terms like that, right? Because I think people get confused and they get scared because they don't know anything about the mental part.
Yeah.
The physical is a lot more researched, and so when you get to the mental part, people just freeze up and they freak out, and they think that it's going to be some weird routine when really it's just like you said, it's just practice, constant practice.
Practice, and I take the same approach as, I have a strength conditioning background. That's the way I think.
Yeah.
I think in program and progressive, increases. That's the way I think, So the SAID principle, those adapt, whatever you put on your body, you're going to adapt. And it's the same thing with the mental side.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, I can't meditate for 1 minute. Okay, well, we're going to keep practicing until we can, because you can get better. You can improve.
Yeah.
It's not it really upsets because, focus is such a big thing. Oh, he has really bad attention span. I'm like, all right, well, let's work on it.
Yeah.
You can improve that. That's not a crutch.
Yeah. People just love to accept their shortcomings as, that's just how I am, So that's really funny that you put it like that. And then kind of with that, right, do you have any tips on goal setting or anything like that?
I mean, obviously, you want to you want it to be specific. You want, smart goals. You want it to be measurable. You want it to be all these things, and you want to put a timestamp on it. I think the biggest thing with goal setting is the follow up. So, a lot of times what I'll see is like people will set goals. Yeah. And they'll set a time. They'll make it measurable, but then they never touch back on it. They never like. They're like, yeah, I'm doing this, and it's going to be done in a month, and then blah, 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 all these things. And then it's like, a month later, hey, where you at? Oh, I don't know. I stopped measuring. Yeah. I stopped looking at it. So I think a lot with goal setting, it's like, it's literally just the process of following up. It's like touching, hey, where are we at? I need a reset. Everyone needs a reset. Everyone needs a reminder. Everyone needs it, myself included. Sometimes I need a reminder all the time. Paige will always keep me in check. Well, you said this. All right, you're right. I did. Let's do it. So that's, I think the specifics with goal setting is literally just bringing it back up with your athletes. If you set a goal and you said, hey, I'm going to do these corrective exercises, twice a week, and it's going to help my knee stability, and then my tendonitis is going to go away. Like, all right, hey, 2 weeks later, where you at? How many times did you get it done this week? Oh, I only did it once. All right, let's do it right now. That's your second time. We have to make sure we build this into our routine. I think that's the biggest thing with goal setting is just follow up. Yeah,
no, I agree. Okay, and then you kind of touched on a routine of meditating, right? And so do you have any other routines, or do you believe in daily routines, or what's your take on like habit formation and routines?
Yeah, so I think, like, do I believe in daily routines? That is kind of, to me, it's like, oh, what's that mean? But do I have daily routine? Yeah, I do. I wake up, like I said earlier, I wake up every morning, I work out, I come home, we take Izzy for a walk, I have breakfast. That's my daily routine. I come home later at night, we cook dinner, we take Izzy out. Like, I have routines in my life. I think that it makes me more effective and more efficient. If I did not wake up in the morning and work out, I don't know how. I do know there's times where I haven't, and I've experimented with it, and it's terrible. I'm like, I'm foggy all day. I'm just not the same. So I need to exercise in the morning. That's something I like to do. It gets my day started. It gets me rolling. So I do believe in creating routines. I think it helps create better habits also, because now, hey, say every time after breakfast I brush my teeth. Well, if there's something I want to add when we talk about habit formation, look, I want to do 10 sit-ups a day. All right, every time I brush my teeth, I'm going to do 10 sit-ups right after. Now, all of a sudden, I'm going to start to create a routine. And again, it has to be something small. It's not like, hey, I want to do 1,000 crunches a day. All right, I'm just going to do that every morning. All right, well, look, you're not stacking it on another habit. 1,000 sit-ups is kind of ridiculous. Like, you're just going to do that every day. How much time is that going to take? So start small. All right, I'm going to do 10. I'm going to do it after I brush my teeth. Now it's stacked on another habit that you already have. It's part of your routine. Now you build that into your routine, and little by little, all of a sudden those 10 sit-ups turns to 20, turns to 30, turns to the same thing. So I think that daily routines are important. I think they're critical for efficiency, and I think it helps. I'm a huge planner and kind of a structured guy. I love making lists of things I need to do. It helps me focus. I write a lot of things down. My notes in my phone, like that little notes. I mean, it is like, it probably literally takes like 2 whole minutes of scrolling up because of how much I write down in my notes. So I think routines are huge, and if you don't have a routine, then it makes it really hard to structure your day and plan to be organized, in my opinion. So I'm huge on routine.
No, I love it. Okay. And then moving into this last segment, right? Just some rapid fire questions. So I'm just going to read a question, and you just give me a short answer, and we'll just keep rolling through it, okay? So what are some quotes that you live by, if you have any?
I have two of my favorite ones. So, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'll spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. That's Abraham Lincoln. Coach Coughlin used to say it all the time. It's something I live by, preparation, and it builds confidence. So again, like I said before, I wasn't the most confident people. Like now I prepare. If I'm gonna build a table, like if I'm gonna fix a door handle, like I said, door handles that broken at home, I need to fix it. Like I'm gonna prepare so much that when I go to do that, I'm ready to fix it. I'm the least handy person in the world. I don't know. I never touched a hammer growing up. I don't know how to fix anything. But you know what? I'm going to prepare right now, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it great. So to me, that one about preparation, then it costs a candle nothing to light another candle. So that, notion of giving and serving, it costs you nothing. I go, hey, look, we're having this talk right now. It's not, it's 30 minutes of my time, but like, it's just nice. Like, I heard you talk about your vision, your passion about growing the industry and improving it. And like, okay, if I have any insight, I don't know if I do, but I'll help, I'll do whatever I can, So those are 2 quotes that I love to live by.
I love them. Okay. Is there a thought or experience from your past that you've held on to that's kind of made a big difference in your life now?
Yes. So, this rapid fire questions, right? I take 10 minutes to answer this one. So when Coach John Perry came to Merrimack College, I think he's with the Texans right now. The first talk he gave to the team, he talked about competing. Okay. And he's like, you guys all play college sports. You're all pretty competitive, right? Everyone's like, yeah, we're competitive. We love to compete. He's like, all right, everyone raise your hand. He's like, those of you who have a 2.0 GPA, put your hands down. Some hands went down. Those of you who have a 2.5, put your hands down. Some hands went down. Those of you that have a 3.0, put your hands down. 3.0, keep your hands up. Everyone else put their hands down. 3.5. Now, like, at this point, there's like 4 people on the team, and it's like, it's like the long snapper, like some random people, like, who has a 3.9, And there's like 1 or 2 people on the team. And he's like, stand up. And he's like, these are the most competitive people in the room. And everyone's like, what? What are they talking about? Yeah. And he's like, when you can learn to compete in and off the field, like on the field, off the field, in the classroom, like when you have a phone call with your mom, if you're going to be the best son in the world, when you talk to your brother or sister, like, are you the best brother? When you go to cook, are you the best cook? Like, when you can learn to compete at everything you do, that's when you're going to make changes. That's when you're going to go far. That's when you're going to move the needle. And to me, that was something that stuck. That's like one of my core values is like, competition. And when I say competition, I'm not talking about beating someone else. I'm not talking about being better than someone else. I'm talking about competing with myself. I'm going to be the best at whatever I do to bring up the people around me. If I'm a great mental skills coach, then it's going to raise the level of mental skills coaches. If I'm a great strength coach, it's going to raise the level of the strength coaches around me. And that's true competition. It's not about beating someone and like tripping them at the finish line. It's like, no, if they're faster than me, then guess what? I have to train. I have to get faster. It's going to raise my level. Exactly. That's competition. Like, get everyone better around you. And to me, that was something that has stuck with me. I mean, when we played at Houston a couple years ago, I literally shook his hand in the middle of the field. I'm like, you have changed my life by saying that speech. Yeah. And I talked about it earlier at Springfield. Shane and I, we adopted that lifestyle. Everything we did, we were trying to beat each other and we were trying to make each other better. If he found out a way to cook chicken better, he told me. If he found out a way to, if he did, I'm like, he helped me. And so that was definitely something that stuck with me.
I love it.
What is fast as I could answer that question?
No, that's perfectly fine. What is the best advice you've ever been given?
So when I was, I went and visited my uncle out in Arizona one time. And he told me, this is before I had started any internships or anything. I was at Springfield and it was late. It was like 2 a.m. on New Year's. And we were just talking, just heart to heart. He's just talking to me and giving me advice and feeding into me. He's got a nice house in Arizona, basketball court. Like, he's done well. And I'm like, what advice can you give me? And he said, he's from Salem. He grew up in Salem. He's like, you need to leave. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you need to move away and you need to just figure it out. Yeah. You need to figure out who you are. You need to figure out how you work. You need to figure out how you want to work. Like, all that stuff that happened in high school or college, like, that doesn't matter. You need to figure out who you are, how you want to live, and how you want to do it. And the only way you can do that is if you're by yourself. He's like, and not by yourself, like, isolated in a corner, He just said, you need to get away from all the things that you grew up in. When you get away from that, then you can truly grow and adapt because, everyone knows. When you go back somewhere, people have preconceived thoughts or notions about you. And it's just, he's like, all that stuff is worthless. He's like, what you need to do is you're going to change, you're going to grow, you're going to adapt, you're going to become an adult, things are going to change for you, the way you think, everything. He's like, and the best way to do that is to get out and do it yourself. And that, when I first had my interview with Coach Powell at Southeastern Louisiana, literally that was the conversation I thought about. And I'm like, hey, Rob told me I needed to do something. I needed to move. I moved to Louisiana. I was like, I've never been out of Massachusetts. I'm down living in Hammond, Louisiana, right north of Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans. I'm like, you talk about changing your world and
yeah.
just like putting yourself in a situation where you need to grow and adapt. And that to me was some of the best advice I ever received was just, hey, figure it out.
Yeah.
And just don't worry about what anyone else thinks. You just need to do it.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So in contrast to that, what is the worst advice you've ever been given?
This is a good one. So this was a tough one. I don't know. It's tough. So the one thing that sticks out to me, because I'm like, look, if it was bad advice, I obviously didn't remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, bad advice, I try not to hold on to.
Exactly.
I try to,
just dissipate it, yeah.
That's my focus and move on. So, but some really bad advice that really stuck out to me was one time I went into a performance review with a boss of mine, and I asked them, like, how can I get better?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a hungry SOB. Like, I'm like, I want to grow, I want to work hard, I want to improve, I want to, whatever it is, like I want to get better. Like whatever I'm doing, I want to do it better. I want to do it better than the next person. I just want to be the best.
Yeah.
So this review, I'm like, what can I do to get better? And he's like, don't do anything. Like, what do you mean? Do what you've been doing. Just do the same thing you've been doing and you'll be fine. I'm like, what? Like seriously?
Yeah.
I'm here trying to get better. I'm here asking you, like, give me some advice, give me some wisdom, like,
yeah.
what can I do to improve? And all I got was, don't do anything different. Just do what you're doing. And to me, that was probably some of the worst advice I ever got in my life.
Yeah.
And I took it upon myself. I started taking different classes. I started reading things. I found ways to grow and improve. But to me, that was probably the most deflating and, like, just... I'm all excited. I'm jacked up to improve and get some wisdom, and then I'm just like, really? Nothing?
You won't do
anything. Nothing I can do. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that was terrible. So that was some bad advice.
Okay. No, I agree. That's usually what you try to stay away from, right? So.
Right? Yeah. Like that's the complete opposite of everything ever in the history of success.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
No, I'm like, okay, sweet.
Yeah. But... That's funny. Okay. So what has been one of the biggest struggles you've had to overcome?
Currently, I would say like time management. Just finding and I don't want to call it a balance because I don't really like that word. I don't like saying work-life balance. I think it's more like work-life integration. Like if I'm doing what I love to do, then it's not really work. I'm just living life. You know? So it's finding that integration where I'm giving enough time to Paige. I'm giving enough time to Izzy. I'm giving enough time to my family. I lived far away for so long that like all the parties, I couldn't go to it, and that hurt. Like right now, you're not at home. You're not in Washington, so it's difficult not being there.
Exactly.
And then the other side is when you're there, it's all the time. So I'm like trying to find that balance between where to go, what to do, all of the people pulling from different directions, both work and personal. Everything. So. It's just finding that, integration and figuring out how to carry everything, wear different hats, and, just still be where I need to be, how I need to be,
Yeah, I think that's so applicable to everyone. And then...
Yeah. So, and it's always a challenge. There's no, like, it's never going to be easy. It's just, that's a challenge.
Exactly. No, I agree. And then kind of just the last question on this segment, right? So what are some projects that you're currently working on? How can people kind of reach out to you and follow your journey?
I have a million irons in the fire, and that is part of my struggle. That is like I'm just all over the place, and because both between athletics, strength conditioning, football, all different sports, golf, one-on-one athletes, and then business, like growing the business, working with businesses, working. So for me, I'm all over the place. The best way to get a hold of me or follow me or track me is, either Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, my website, like whatever, any social media chain. It's just, at Jamey Mroz, JAMEYMROZ. I always laugh and say, my name's Jamey. It's like a girl name, boy name. And I'm like, I spelled it the boy way.
I
spelled it the man way.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's, social media, you just reach out and, and that's, so I would say Instagram probably the best way, but, anything.
Okay. Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I think this has been hugely valuable to me personally and to all the listeners that are going to get it. So, once again, thank you for your time, and I hope to connect again soon in the future.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm excited, to build this relationship, and I hope you have a great day, and I'm excited for what you're doing.
Thank you, Coach. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.